Hey everyone, and welcome back to Retro Legends. Today we're going to explore one of the giants in video game history. The Super Nintendo Entertainment System, or SNES, is one of the most beloved consoles of all time. Launched in the early 1990s, it brought with it unforgettable games, groundbreaking technology, and a legacy that still influences the gaming world today. But even if you think you know everything about the SNES, there are tons of hidden details, behind-the-scenes stories, and fun facts that might surprise you. Let's discover together 10 things you might not know about the Super Nintendo. Let's get started. The SNES was Nintendo's answer to the 16-bit wars. In the 1990s, the video game market was booming. Sega, with its Genesis, Mega Drive outside the US, had started to win over the public with an aggressive campaign. Genesis does what Nintendon't. The message was clear. The Mega Drive was fast, modern, and technologically advanced. Nintendo, however, was not intimidated. The response came in 1990 with the Super Famicom in Japan, and in 1991 with the SNES in North America. Rather than focusing solely on speed and graphics, Nintendo emphasized technological innovation. One of the most revolutionary features was the Mode 7 graphics system, which allowed for rotation and scaling effects never seen before on a console. This allowed for the creation of games like F-Zero and Super Mario Kart, which set new standards for dynamic gameplay. The launch was full of controversy. The Super Famicom was met with such enthusiasm that upon its release in Japan, it caused real chaos. Stores were stormed and stocks ran out in a matter of hours, causing chaos in the cities. The situation became so serious that the Japanese government asked Nintendo to schedule future launches on weekends to avoid public order problems. In the United States, the launch of the SNES was not without its difficulties. Many retailers were concerned about the launch price of $199, equivalent to about $400 today. Also, the existence of the Sega Genesis meant that Nintendo had to win back a portion of the public already loyal to the competition. Despite this, the system quickly set itself apart thanks to its library of exclusive games. Shigeru Miyamoto was skeptical of the SNES. It's hard to imagine the legendary Shigeru Miyamoto, creator of Mario and The Legend of Zelda, opposing a Nintendo console, but that's exactly what happened. When the SNES project was in development, Miyamoto expressed concern that the new graphics capabilities might distract from the gameplay. According to him, there was a risk that developers would focus too much on spectacular visual effects, neglecting what makes a game truly fun. Fortunately, thanks to his direct involvement, the Super Nintendo found a perfect balance between technology and playability, creating memorable experiences that are still fondly remembered today. Mode 7 was one of the biggest strengths of the SNES, allowing for graphic effects that simulated 3D in an era when this technology was still in its infancy. By manipulating the backgrounds, the system created the illusion of three-dimensional surfaces, giving life to dynamic and immersive worlds. One of the most famous examples of this technology is F-Zero, a futuristic racing game that seemed incredibly advanced for 1990. Fun fact: Super Mario Kart, another famous title that used Mode 7, was initially conceived as a multiplayer F-Zero game. Only later did the team decide to turn it into a standalone experience, introducing the Mario characters and revolutionizing the racing game genre. In the early 1990s, Nintendo collaborated with Sony to develop a CD-ROM expansion for the Super Nintendo, known as the Nintendo PlayStation. This add-on would have allowed the console to read optical discs, offering a much larger memory capacity than cartridges. However, the partnership broke down abruptly due to contractual disagreements. The result? Sony decided to enter the market with a console of its own, the PlayStation. This event changed the video game industry forever. Today, Nintendo PlayStation prototypes are extremely rare and highly sought after by collectors. Star Fox was one of the first games to bring 3D graphics to home consoles, thanks to the Super FX chip built into the cartridges. This chip, developed by Argonaut Software, allowed the SNES to process polygon models in real time, something unheard of at the time. The success of Star Fox proved that the Super Nintendo was capable of pushing beyond the theoretical limits of its hardware, paving the way for increasingly ambitious games. Fun fact: The character of Fox McCloud was inspired by a fox statue that the development team saw every day near their studio. When Shigeru Miyamoto presented the concept of Yoshi's Island to Nintendo executives, they initially rejected the idea of the pastel design. After the success of Donkey Kong Country, they believed that the public wanted games with pre-rendered graphics. Miyamoto insisted, arguing that the hand-drawn style was fundamental to the game's identity. In the end, he won, and Yoshi's Island was not only a commercial success, but became one of the most beloved games on the SNES, remembered for its unique aesthetic and creative gameplay. The SNES audio was light years ahead. The SNES audio chip developed by Sony was revolutionary for its time. It allowed developers to create orchestral soundtracks and complex sound effects. This made musical masterpieces like the soundtracks of Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy VI possible. Fun fact, the chip was designed by Ken Kutaragi, who would later become the father of the PlayStation. The irony is that such a groundbreaking technology for Nintendo came from a future competitor. The Satellaview, playing via satellite. In 1995, Nintendo launched the Satellaview in Japan, a satellite modem for the Super Famicom. This peripheral allowed players to download games, participate in live events, and even listen to audio broadcasts synchronized with gameplay. Titles like BS Zelda offered unique experiences with exclusive content that is considered a true piece of video game history today. Unfortunately, the Satellaview never left Japan, remaining a little-known curiosity outside of the country. An unrivaled game library. The SNES game library is often considered one of the best ever. With masterpieces like Super Mario World, The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past, Super Metroid, and Earthbound, the console defined an era. But it doesn't end there. The system also boasted lesser-known gems, such as Terranigma, ActRaiser, and Demon's Crest. These titles continue to be discovered and loved by retro gaming fans. And that concludes our journey into the past. How many of these fun facts did you already know? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell for more journeys into the world of retro gaming. Thanks for watching Retro Legends, and see you in the next video. Stay retro, stay legends.